sit back in your seats, get something to eat, and watch this movie. Don't let the kiddies see it, because, well, we'll let you hear the beginning first. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, guys. Welcome to Closet Chat.
Hello.
I am Sunny.
I'm Rainy.
And today we are going to do something that has been quite trendy on TikTok and other social media.
Oh, yes. I especially have seen it on YouTube. In fact, my YouTube feed is just recommending all of it. Yeah.
And it might be familiar in that, usually you see a little character running through a subway, gathering all them coins.
That, or you could see someone playing something like GTF in the background.
Or maybe even somebody baking a cake or playing with slime.
Or playing Minecraft.
Yeah. Oh, the Minecraft when they're hopping from blocks?
Yes.
Yeah. So, if you haven't already guessed, today Rainy and I are going to go through the subreddit, Am I the Asshole?
Yes.
So,
And, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go for it.
And then we will also determine if the person who told the story is an asshole or not.
Mm-hmm.
But by our own opinions. We might read the comments, but it will be by our own judgment. Because,
Yes.
Everyone's going to have a different opinion about each story.
I will say I am fully prepared to get angry.
I am too, mostly because unlike Sunny, who does a quick read, I go in blind. So if I sound really pissed off, that's probably why.
And it's interesting because I usually feel like a lot of these stories, I usually feel bad for like the OP.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like, there's the stories where like the OP is obviously 1000% an asshole because they're like, I don't know, kind of shitty.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have some interesting stories. We picked out 3 stories per person, and if we have enough time, we might pick out a 4th.
Yeah. All right. So, youngest goes first.
Here is my first story. Am I the asshole for calling my sister-in-law a dictator for her parenting style after my son was excluded from a child-free wedding? This story is by Kids Will Be Kids 32, and it was posted, as of right now, 4 hours ago.
Oh, very nice.
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
I, 32 female, have a son, 9 months. No, 9-year-old male. I read the M and I was like, 9 months? That's a baby.
Yeah.
My husband has a younger sister-in-law, 35 years old, who has 2 children, 8 and a 6-year-old, with little girls. She and her husband are, in my opinion, pretty strict with their daughters. They are both psychologists, but I don't think they know what they're doing. These are some rules they enforce on them in public. 1. Raise their hand to speak and wait for permission. 2. Don't interrupt adults when they're talking. 3. Leave everything where it was after taking/playing with it or moving it. Everyone praises their daughters for being so well behaved, but I think they're cool. I've never seen them running, screaming, or crying. They play with other children well, but they always clean up afterwards. And if they don't behave, my sister-in-law gives them an angry look and they stop immediately. I admit that my son is not the best behaved when we leave the house, but at least he acts like a kid. It's normal for them to be loud, messy, throw a tantrum once in a while, and interrupt others. They even act like that when their parents aren't around, and I feel sorry for them. They don't seem to be unhappy, though. My husband's brother got married a few days ago, and the invitation said that it was a child-free wedding. So we left our son with a babysitter. Like I said before, he doesn't behave well in public, and I knew he would throw a tantrum, so I decided not to fight it. But my nieces were at the wedding, both of them as flower girls. I asked the bride in private later, and she said, yes, it's a child-free wedding, but they're the exception. They're well behaved, and I know they won't make a mess, unlike others, with a smile, referring to my son between lines. I understand her reasons, but the comparison was unnecessary. I feel like my son was unfairly excluded for behaving like a child. I talked about it with my sister-in-law later, and she didn't know it was a child-free wedding, since the bride included her daughters without any issues. However, she agreed that my son wouldn't be able to behave well at the formal event and that perhaps I should teach him how to act in public. That bothered me. I told her that I would rather have my son be happy than have a dictator mom like her, because she's clearly abusive towards her girls. Sister-in-law didn't say anything, just looked offended, took her daughters, and left. But others sided with her, calling me jealous because her daughters were well-behaved and sweet, while no one could stand my son. Everyone agreed, and no one defended me or my son. So far, I've received calls and texts saying that I owed my sister-in-law an apology, that I was rude, bitter, and a bad mother. My husband also agrees that I should apologize and that we should teach our son some manners, because he's tired of him being excluded from big events for misbehaving, not the first wedding that he didn't go to. However, I think I was right for telling my sister-in-law the truth and that she's denying her daughters a real childhood. So, am I the asshole for calling her a dictator? Eh, There are a high chance. There are a high chance that my son is on the spectrum. We'll know the diagnosis next week. I've suspected it for years, but my husband agreed to take him to therapy last month.
Hmm.
I will say,
Yeah.
something that does bother me about the sister-in-law is the whole like not interrupting adults. That's something I grew up with, and that was incredibly annoying because there were times when I actually legitimately needed to talk to like my mom
Mm-hmm.
about something, and then she would just be like, "No, I'm talking. Like the adults are talking right now. Like just be silent." And but on the other hand, like to have your children like clean up after themselves, I think that's just teaching them responsibility, and I think
Right.
that's actually good.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, um, her sister-in-law's kids are 8 and 6. They're younger than the OP's son, who is
Mhm.
9, who should already know how to pick up after himself.
Yeah,
At
like
least pick up after himself.
I've worked with kids before, ages ranging from like 6 to like 13. And I mean, yeah, we've had kids who, obviously they'll be like having tantrums and stuff, but at the end of the day, we try to teach them to like clean up after themselves and do this and that. Like I think it's really important to teach children to like basically, be somewhat self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient and know, like, when someone tells you, hey, can you please clean up your mess? You
Yeah.
clean up the mess.
Yeah, like I remember in elementary school after lunch, the teachers would always have us clean up our tables, and they would even like turn it into like a game or a competition.
Oh, I didn't have that, but I know, especially in the high school we went, the last lunch after everyone was done eating and it was time to go, they had to stack all the chairs up. I don't know if you were ever in
I never had C.
C. Yeah,
Yeah.
so in C, everyone had to stack the chairs, the tables the tables that they were next to,
Yeah.
had to stack it up. So
I've never done that.
yeah, I've done it like once or twice, but it's just so that way it can help the custodians move the chairs easier.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back to the story. I
Honestly, oh, I'm sorry, Rainey.
No,
Go
go
for
ahead.
it.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say I do think they're the asshole.
I was gonna say they are the asshole. I understand that you're annoyed. I understand that OP is annoyed that her son was not allowed to come, and people were pointing that out. I understand that,
Mhm.
but at the same time, telling your sister-in-law that she's a dictator for teaching her two girls how to behave in public and how to pretty much pick up after themselves.
Mhm.
That's an asshole thing
Also,
to do.
the fact that she basically claimed that she was abusive, I think that's crossing the line.
That is crossing the
because
line,
there is
yeah.
no actual like sign of her being abusive, except for maybe like her glaring at her children instead of calmly like talking to them.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think this is because for me it's like I kind of had that growing up where my mother would always teach me like, hey, if I tell you to clean up, please clean up.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't do it, she gives me a glare too.
She gave you a little stink eye.
I wish it was a stink eye. But she does give me a glare saying, you need to pick up. I'm not repeating myself twice. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, gotta go clean up. So like
Yeah.
that's why for me, yes, OP is the asshole because that is just a way to help the kid to have the kids on like be self-sufficient like you said
Yeah.
earlier.
And it's like, kind of like a warning look, if anything.
Yeah, the warning look if anything.
So, yeah, there's like literally nothing indicating that the husband, like the parents are being abusive. If
Yeah.
anything, like, yeah, I mean, she even said, like, the OP said that the children, like the daughters, like, they are able to play with other children and they don't seem unhappy. So, like, it feels like she's making a big deal out of
Yeah.
nothing. Like, yeah, there are like once again, there could be like, not everything is completely unfounded, but it is especially to like say that during the wedding, I believe.
I think it was a little after the wedding. No, yeah, it was the reception.
Yeah, it was at the reception and I was actually looking through the comments. Yeah, so one comment says um, by Sparrowbuck, your lack of teaching your kids manners doesn't mean that they're cruel parents. If he has any issues that make it hard for him, there's still, I don't know what NTA mean.
I want to say there's other ways.
Well, either way, because it's somebody else's wedding. Kids in a wedding party are an exception because it was their wedding, not yours. All of those rules are stuff I grew up with, and I was allowed to run rampant otherwise. But
Oh,
there was somebody that was saying, oh, okay. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. So the person responded, I think I was the jerk because I called her out in the middle of the wedding, partly because I was upset that my son was left out. So I'm wondering if. And there's one person saying, you don't know what you're doing. You should be apologizing to your sister-in-law and the bride for that matter, and begging your parenting tips in order to get your family to actually want to be around your son. It seems like you are the one who is repressing your son's maturing process, which will prove to be very unhealthy for him in the long run. I mean, honestly, 9-year-olds should no longer be throwing tantrums in public often enough that others openly avoid him over it. Um, yeah. And the thing is, like, if the kid is on the spectrum and you've suspected it for a long time, then how come you never, like, got that? Why haven't you diagnosed him earlier?
Yeah.
Because if you were to get him diagnosed earlier, you'd be able to, like, have a better understanding on how to deal with a kid like this. Because, every kid is different.
Right.
Some kids need, like, different methods of, like, being taught, like, lessons or, like, or maybe just to mature differently. Not to say that the kid is bad, but I would say that the parenting, like, she does seem a little bit reckless in the way she is parenting. Because, yeah, it's normal for kids, but her son is, like, 9 years old. I didn't do that.
Like I think at that point, 9 years old, you're not supposed to have a temper tantrum.
Yeah. And, like, once again, part of it could be due to him being on the spectrum, which is more understandable in that case.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like, I do think it's up to the parent to, like, teach their kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first story. They're definitely the asshole.
Oh yeah, definitely the asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized NTA means not the asshole.
Not the asshole.
Yeah.
Okay, so that commenter was saying that the psychologist parents were not the asshole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, and 14 minutes in. Woo! Alrighty, so it'll be my turn now. This story actually has two parts to it: the original post and then the update.
Okay.
So this is going to be by Throwaway Uncle 44. Here is the title: Am I the asshole for choosing to go on a trip with my girlfriend instead of taking care of my struggling brother's son? For context, my brother, who is 24 male, Luke. Oh no, I'm sorry. I messed that up already.
Wait, how?
I thought the age was. Yeah, hold on. All right. So OP is 24 years old and male.
Oh, okay.
So OP is 24 years old and male. So let's go ahead and redo this. For context, my brother Luke, quote unquote, 31 male, his wife, quote unquote, Emma, 28 female, and their son, quote unquote, Kyle, 4 years old, moved to my city last year because Emma got a new job. They would occasionally ask me to watch Kyle because I work from home with very flexible hours. I personally do not like kids at all, but I was happy to do it at the time because I wanted to help them. It was not that often, maybe once or twice every 2 weeks, and Kyle was very well behaved. Now, the issue started near the end of last year when Luke decided to change careers. He was previously working remotely as well. His new job required him to go to work a lot more often and make sustainably less money. This left them depending on me more and more to take care of Kyle. It went from once or twice every 2 weeks to around 3 days out of the week. To make matters worse, Kyle's behavior changed drastically. To be completely honest, I can barely stand the kid anymore, constantly running around and screaming while I'm trying to work and just overall being a little shit. My sister-in-law Emma was over the other day picking up Kyle and made some comments about getting rid of some of the dangerous furniture in my house, like tables with glass edges and stuff, so my home is safer for their son, and made a joke about baby-proofing my house because they're planning to have a daughter. This pissed me off, but I didn't say anything. The situation hit a breaking point last Friday when I was talking about the 1.5-week-long trip I was going on with my girlfriend on the 15th. Me and my girlfriend like to travel somewhere nice at least once a month. We could not the past couple of months because of Kyle, but I promised my girlfriend we would go somewhere exotic for Valentine's. Upon hearing this, they got pretty mad, saying who was going to take care of Kyle, that I need to stop these childish trips, and that I need to take more responsibility because I'm an uncle now. I'm not gonna lie, after hearing this, I fucking snapped. I said that their demon child isn't my responsibility, and I'm not just gonna give up my life because they fucked without a condom. It got pretty obscene from there, and some horrible things were said. They left, and we are no longer on speaking terms. My parents and Emma's parents are on their side and extremely angry at me for refusing to pull my weight. My parents said that this is my duty and I should be sacrificing everything to help them. It's honestly got me really down, and I've cried my eyes pretty much every day since seeing those messages from my family. I'm starting to wonder if I really should be taking more responsibility. Am I the asshole for choosing my trips over my brother and nephew? So that's part 1.
Oh my god, I feel so angry on their behalf.
I know, and I am angry too because, just for everyone to know, I'm an aunt, and I have my own nephews, like twins, and I swear to God, if I was put in that same position, I would be snapping at my brother because that would not be fair. Now, here is a part 2, an update. So, Throwaway Uncle 44 did make an update, so here it is. Thank you everyone for the comments. After reading through for about an hour, it kind of helped me realize how toxic my relationship is with my family. As many of you mentioned, yes, my brother is the golden child of the family, and thinking about it now, that favoritism is the main reason I wanted to move away from them so badly in the first place. I had a talk with my brother and my sister-in-law where I apologized for calling their child a demon and the comment remark. They accepted my apology, but they did not apologize to me. Apparently, ours and my sister-in-law's parents were just not telling them, but encouraging them to use me for help the whole time. I told them how exhausted and frustrated I was and how much this whole shit show has hurt me, and that I would not be watching Kyle anymore, period, and that they need to figure something else out. They did not take it well, and my sister-in-law started yelling again. And after some arguing, my sister-in-law said that if I would not watch Kyle, the least I can do is pay for his daycare and help with some of the other expenses since I have the money to zip off to a different country every month. I was honestly appalled. I would not have minded to help them out financially, but the tone of her voice, as she said it was just infuriating. The only thing they heard was that I would not continue helping them. They did not give a shit about anything else I said. I just got up and left their house without saying a word. I wanted to leave before I completely exploded again. 10 minutes after I left, my phone started buzzing with them, and my parents and I just put it on Do Not Interact.
But you got a text from his parents as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I read a lot of comments saying I should go no contact, and I really did not want to have to do that, but they are clearly not interested in respecting me as a human being, so that's it. I will not be speaking to my family until they want to genuinely apologize to me. Thanks, guys. So, I just want to say, because after reading both parts, OP is not the asshole.
Not at all.
His brother and sister-in-law are the asshole.
His entire family.
His entire family, yeah, because...
Like, the fact that they're saying, like, oh, as an uncle, it's your obligation to basically become a third set of parent. Like, no, you have... Honestly, you don't have any obligation because, like, it's the brother and the sister-in-law's decision to have a child. So
Yeah.
how the hell is it your responsibility? You have your own life. Like,
Yeah.
were you part of the process to create this child?
That would have
No.
been awkward.
Yes, that would have been hella awkward. So, like, the fact that they expect him to pay for the daycare expenses when it's not even his own child, like,
Yeah,
that's
like-
insane to me.
Yeah, like, as I was reading it, I was getting pissed because I was like, if I was ever put in that situation, I would have just been straight up, no, this is not my child, that's your child.
Mhm.
You figure out how to take care of your child. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't mind watching, like, I wouldn't mind watching my two nephews every now and then,
Mhm.
but not like almost every day.
Like 3 days out of the week, that's kind of a lot. And
Yeah.
the fact that this OP was also working.
Yeah.
No, what like boggles my mind is the fact that the brother like downgraded his career.
It's like,
That makes no sense, especially if like you have a child, you want to make sure that you're being able to provide enough money. And not only that, but it's like with you being able to work remotely, you'd be able to take care of the child more. So it makes sense why the child's behavior started to change after his father like changed his job. Is because he's probably not getting the proper attention.
like the attention he's so used to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, of course, that's why his attitude is acting out, because like you guys realize if you change something and you don't give the kid enough time to adjust to it, they're gonna start acting out to get what they lost.
Yeah, and how old was the kid?
The kid's 4 years old.
Yeah, so the kid doesn't even understand what's going on. Yeah. Because I mean he's literally like 4 years old. So yeah, word of advice, don't let your family take advantage of you like that, because even though they're family, you have your own life. You don't really have an obligation to them unless it's something that you're wanting to do out of your own time.
Yeah.
It should always be your decision, not the other way around.
Right.
So yeah, that was incredibly infuriating to listen to. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would definitely do no contact after that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my god.
Like I understand OP for not wanting to do that because it's family, but like I'm glad that he's taking the necessary like action for himself.
Yeah.
Good job, OP.
Good job.
Also, I like his name, Throwaway Uncle.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, then I love how it's Throwaway Uncle 44, so that means there were 43 other Throwaway Uncles. Which that's actually pretty hilarious.
Who knows, there might be even more than 44.
That's true.
Alright, are you ready for the next one?
Yes, what's the next one?
Alright, this was posted 8 hours ago. By Accomplished Fan 309. Am I the asshole for calling my wife the most beautiful woman in the world in front of her sister?
Ooh.
This one's a fun one, guys. Alright. I, male 29, am a doctor, and my wife, female 29, is in another high demand, high pay field with long hours. I have recently been working more odd hours as opposed to my wife's normal 8 to about 6 routines. As such, we have not really seen much of each other for about a week. We're also just normally very lovey-dovey, cuddling, and all that stuff. We make sure not to do PDA and keep it not sexual most of the time. Also, her sister, female 33, has recently divorced from her husband, for reasons that are irrelevant in my opinion. Just for context, her sister had an Indian-style arranged marriage, and does not see the point of love marriages in general. She is taking this quite hard, as in India, where she got her previous marriage from, there is sadly a lot of stigma surrounding women who have divorced, which means if she doesn't find a love marriage, she will likely be all alone for the rest of her life, as very few people will want to arrange a marriage with her. I personally think the whole concept of arranged marriages is fine, but a lot of the standards and stigma surrounding it are quite backwards. So my sister has been staying with me and my sis. Oh wait. So my sister has been staying with me and my wife. Oh, sister-in-law, right? Okay, that's because it's his wife's sister. Okay. We're okay with it, and she's honestly a very nice roommate. Always cleaning up after herself, super respectful of the rules in the house. Recently, my wife and I got lucky, and I had my workday end at 5 on Friday, and she came home early. We were pretty excited, and for once we were both home and we were together. We decided to watch a movie together after a while, and we were lying on the couch cuddling, sweet talking to each other a little bit. Sister came into the room and sat down on the other couch and watched the movie. We weren't really saying anything, to be honest, just stuff like how we missed each other, how it was so painful to be without each other, how we loved each other a lot, that sort of stuff. I was trying to be soft because the sister looked like she was actually watching the film, but at one point I just held my wife's face and told her, "You're the most beautiful woman in the world." I didn't notice it at the time, but I believe it was when her sister left the room. Later on in the night, after my wife had gone off to prepare for bed, the sister came out and yelled at me. She basically accused me of cuddling with my wife specifically to mock the fact that she doesn't have a husband anymore, and that I was saying she wasn't beautiful when I was telling my wife that she was the most beautiful. I tried to calm her down, but she got more riled up, fixating on comparisons between my wife and her, getting a bit too close to me for my liking, and asking me questions like, "What makes her hotter than me?" She then held out for a hug, crying a bit, but I shook my head because I was a bit too concerned how she went from yelling to me to wanting physical comfort. Eventually, she backed off and said, "Okay," tearfully, and walked away. Am I the asshole for saying it? Should I have given her a hug?
So I want to say OP's not the asshole. I want to say the sister's the asshole. But at the same time, the sister's going through a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she is going through a lot, but like they're a married couple, like it's
What they're gonna do.
yeah, it's expected for them, like especially if they're already like been like lovey-dovey, like that's their normal thing. Like
Yeah.
of course they're gonna act like that. You can't take it personally. And like I this one comment says it best by Tazmoo.
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying you're not the asshole. The sisters' issue are not your issue, and she is making them your issue. You and the wife need to sit down and have a chat with her about boundaries. She's trampling all over yours. Her misery is not your problem. You guys have helped her out by being there for her. Now she's becoming a problem. It needs to be nipped in the bud if you want to keep your home feeling like a homely place for you and your wife. That's the priority here. And you should be prioritizing your wife and your marriage over her sister's sadness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, and then there's another comment. Not the asshole. I have three sisters. I'd be happy to hear their husbands telling them that anytime they want it, they're wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's insecure, not your fault or problem. Please continue to tell your wife that every day in front of whoever. Edit to add, I just couldn't stop thinking about this and I want to make sure you understand two things. One, you are in no way responsible for this woman's mental health. Two, she is crossing major boundaries with her sister by treating you like you should be caring for her feelings. This is honestly not okay. Talk to your wife. You do not need to communicate with her sister at all about her feelings. If she comes to you again, you should tell her to direct that shit to your wife. It's weird that she went to you and not to your wife in the first place. Which, that last part is a really good point.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that she was wanting, like, she would say, like, what makes my sister hotter than me? That's her husband.
Of course.
Yeah, like, they're married. You want him to be attracted to you?
Yeah.
That's very strange to me.
Oh yeah. And then the fact that at the end of OP's story, it's like he mentioned like the fact that she went from yelling at him to asking for a hug. I'm just like, this woman needs help because like I can tell she has a lot of insecurities because like and because like OP said like they had an Indian style, which I'm assuming they're Indian,
Mm-hmm.
Indian style wedding. So they're Indian, which means in that culture, if you get divorced from an arranged marriage, it's pretty much saying that you have like you have to find another marriage or else you're unmarriable. Like
Yeah.
you are not a perfect spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, not gonna go into that with my opinion on that, but it's like at the same time, it's like that's not an excuse to react that way to a married couple who,
Yeah,
you know,
especially if it's like your sister.
especially your sister, because basically you're trying to get your brother-in-law to fall in love with you, trying to take him away from your sister.
I don't know if she's trying to do that, but it's definitely a bit of a manipulative thing, and it could be. You could definitely look into it as if she's trying to be a bit of a homewrecker slightly, but like it's definitely. I mean, at least she backed off.
She backed off, but like I don't know, like there's just something
really off about it.
Like I feel like something's gonna happen.
Yeah, I really hope that she. Yeah, the fact that she's jealous of her sister, that's bonkers to me.
Yeah,
I
so
really wish there was
an update.
Yeah, I really wish there was an update because I want to know if he like talked to his wife or anything.
Yeah, but to accomplished fan 309, good luck with your sister-in-law.
Yeah, no kidding. That's rough, dude.
Yeah. Alrighty. So for my next one, hold on, let me make sure. Okay, I'm gonna do this one, which was posted 4 hours ago from Classy Pyro. Am I the asshole for making my mother lose custody of my nephew?
Oh, God.
Alrighty. This morning, I, 29 male, had a rude awakening by my mother, 61 female, pounding on my bedroom's door, telling me to get up. Got up, went to the kitchen, and she told me to sit down. And then she explained how just 15 minutes ago she was visited by two police officers, two agents from CPS to take my nephew, 1-year-old male, to a I cannot pronounce this.
Municipal
shelter. I was already expecting this to happen, but figured I would have a few weeks more of a lead time. In any case, what happens is my sister, 28 female, had a son early last year, and since she was admitted to the hospital giving premature birth, had not done any prenatal care whatsoever and was involved in substance abuse. The hospital reported it to CPS, who took her son away to a shelter. I knew this would happen eventually, and I knew my mother would step in because he's blood and flesh, and you don't separate blood and flesh. However, I didn't expect it would go as bad as it did. For starters, my sister decided not to name the father in the birth certificate despite the guy owning up to it. He helped out for a few months, and when he saw he was off the hook, he vanished. At the same time, my mother quit her job to look after my nephew, leaving the brunt of the house expenses with me. She said my sister would be moving in and would be getting a job. She did move in, but zero effort in getting a job, and even less in helping around the house. Bear in mind, this is an old style shared living boarding house, which is much less than the ideal, but you play the cards you're dealt with. Fast forward to April. My mom has been granted custody over my nephew and he is living with us. Fast forward again to November, and my mother has another relapse into alcoholism, skips out on 15 days of work, and I report it to CPS agent responsible for my nephew's case. Come December, I am once again with my finances severely strained, and just after New Year's, again, my mother decided that a little drink wouldn't hurt, and skips on a whole month of work. Again, I reported it to CPS. It's now early February, and somehow my mother hasn't lost her job and has started finally seeing a psychologist and a psychologist. Meanwhile, we get a court summons to speak to the court's social assistant regarding my nephew, his care, and his current living arrangements. I tell the truth about my mother's alcoholism, how I'm worried that properly caring for my nephew is beyond her capability. She's 61 years old, smokes, has trouble with alcohol, how I cannot look after him. I'm almost 30, barely make enough to keep my head out of water, and how my sister is still unfit, hasn't even bothered getting a job, and is not clear whether she's abusing substance or not. The social service person told me it was very likely they would step in and take him back to a shelter, and in the long run, he will likely be up for adoption. This morning, they came and took my nephew, and I'm finished burying whatever relationship I had left with my mother and sister. So, am I the asshole?
Nah.
No, because honestly, you were doing what was right for the kid.
Yeah, because that kid is not going to thrive in that kind of environment, and it is tough, for like CPS and being in the home shelters. Like that can be very difficult. But if he ends up getting adopted into a better family who is able to have the proper resources to take care of the kid, like that'll work out better for the long run.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like he's trying to do his best for the kid. Like he's trying to like actually like I think that's really brave of him to
Yeah.
like do that.
And like I like how the fact that he while saying that his mother and his sister don't seem like they're good fits, he even puts himself saying, "Yeah, I'm not a good fit. I can barely take care of myself at the moment."
Yeah.
And it's that's a really mature, because he's saying that this kid is not going to be okay with either no, with none. I can't speak right now, with either three of us, because two of us are having substance abuse or alcoholism, and one of us is barely able to keep our head out of water. So it's like he was he made the right choice. So he's not the asshole. He's doing what's right for the kid.
Yeah, and it's like even if you were to like try to take care of the kid, like it probably would not work out well.
Mm-mm.
I mean, good for the mom to like finally be seeing like a psychologist. Like hopefully she will her alcoholism will get better because it's definitely a pattern. It's reoccurring and yikes.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that the sister is like not even being a parent. Like
Yeah. The fact that she doesn't even want to put the father's name on the birth certificate.
to even like at least have the kid be taken care of.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking stupid. And like it sounds like she had the child irresponsibly. And that's not the child's fault. That's the sister's fault.
Yeah.
Like she shouldn't have had a child in the first place if she's not even going to like take responsibility.
Right.
And it's just I don't know. I'm just upset at the sister more than anything because like that's so irresponsible to bring a child into the world and to not even like take responsibility.
Yeah.
Because the kid didn't ask to be born. Yeah, I hope that kid has a better future. And yeah, are there like any updates or anything?
Mm-mm. This was 4 hours ago.
4 hours ago? Yeah, pretty recent.
Yeah.
And maybe like if sometime if we do this again, we can like check up for updates on those stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, not the asshole.
Not the asshole. You did what was right for the kid.
So far, we only have one story where they're the asshole.
Oh yeah.
All right, are you ready for mine?
Yes.
This one is also kind of infuriating. All right. This one is by Apprehensive Meat 79112. This was posted 6 hours ago. Am I the asshole for not telling my roommate what's in my pickle?
Context, please?
So yeah, I did pick this one for the title.
Okay.
This one's pretty short though. I, 29 male, live with a roommate, 30 male, in a shared housing in India. We are of different religion, and most of the things, till yesterday, were cordial between us. I don't lock my almirah, just my room and the main gate. There are a lot of pickles available here of different types. 4 days ago, I bought one packet of each chicken and pork pickle and poured them in 2 glass jars. Then, day before yesterday, during dinner, he saw me eating the chicken one and asked for a small amount of taste. I guess he liked it, as he kept asking for a bit more. Anyways, yesterday, took the chicken one with me to the office to eat with my lunch. Upon returning, my roommate was giving me these weird looks. During dinner, he again asked me for the chicken pickle. This time I declined and told him he should buy one for himself if he likes it so much. He said, "What's the issue when I already have another jar?" It surprised me, as it was kept in my almirah. When I asked how he got access, he said he knocked on my room to ask for something and found that I left without locking. He saw my almirah and snooped around and saw the other one and tasted a bit. By this point, I was pretty angry and said he shouldn't have even gone inside. Also, it wasn't chicken that he ate, but pork. The guy went white and asked why I didn't tell him. I said, because I don't need to, as it's my stuff. He went to his room, and today I saw him moving his stuff out. I am getting nasty messages from his family for being the biggest walking asshole on earth for feeding him forbidden food. Am I going to hell for that? So, am I the asshole?
I was gonna say at first he was the asshole because he didn't warn his roommate with the chicken pickle. Because it was later, because as you kept reading it, it was said that he tried to offer his roommate chicken,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh wait, he can't eat chicken.
Oh, he can eat chicken. He can't eat pork.
Oh, pork. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pork is, I think for certain religions in India, pork is considered like, I don't know, something like about it, like I'm being impure or something.
Right, but the thing is, this is what he said. Oh, okay. Upon return, I'm sorry, I must have misheard that. So it said upon returning. Okay, but yeah. So I'll take that back. Yeah, not the a-hole because I mean, because if you go into someone's room without them knowing and you go through their stuff, you have no right to complain if something happens.
Also, this is one of my biggest no-nos is
Mhm.
somebody just like started eating my food. Like, I think I would be really pissed. Like, if I had
Yeah.
a roommate and they started eating my snacks or my food, like, I would have a lot of words with them. And you're right. Like, if they're the ones who decide to do that, like, it wouldn't be my fault if they got like sick or ate something that they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
Like who the hell does that? I would never go into someone's house or someone's like my roommate, let's say, for example, like I would never go to them and oh, they're not there. Oh man, there's more of those delicious pickles. I'm gonna eat another pickle. Like, no. You ask for permission or you like buy your own fucking pickle.
Yeah.
And the fact that his like family is like telling OP like that he's the biggest like scum, like no, he did not feed it to his roommate.
If anything, his roommate trespassed into his room, stole something of his. So that's on the roommate's fault because he was not paying because he didn't thought to double check if he has more chicken stuff. He could have.
Yeah. Even then, if there was still more chicken stuff, that's still an asshole thing to do.
Yeah,
And like, it sounds like he didn't tell his family the entire story. Either that or his family are also kind of assholes.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
So hands down, not the asshole. Roommate's the asshole. Alright. Alrighty. So is that what we agreed? Roommate's not the asshole?
No, yeah. The roommate isn't the asshole.
Oh, not
I mean, the OP
OP
isn't
is
the
not
asshole.
asshole.
Roommate is definitely the asshole.
Yeah.
And it seems like everybody agrees.
Yeah. Alright, I think we have time for one more.
That sounds perfect.
Yep. Alrighty. So I'm gonna finish off the last one. This is from Giant Dirt Rita. Am I the asshole for asking my sister to cover up when she leaves the bedroom?
Oh, yeah. I saw a little bit of that one too.
Yeah, and it's a short one too. I, 25 female, and my husband, 27 male, have a home together with our 4-year-old. Our 4-year-old. My sister, Julia, 20, lives with us because we live closer to her college. She has her own room. Julia likes to leave the bedroom in a big shirt and underwear, or just a robe, or walk around the house in her sports bra and booty shorts. I've mentioned to her nicely to change before, but she keeps doing it. The other night she did it again. I just simply said, cover up. She got angry and said she lived there too, and accused me of being worried my husband would sexualize her. I told her that is definitely not the case, but there was a young child in this house, and it wasn't appropriate. She needed to cover up before leaving her room. We got into an argument, and I basically said, you could run around your room naked for all I care, but once you leave the bedroom, you need to cover. She didn't like that and has been avoiding me in the house the past few days. Am I the asshole?
I think that's something that's always annoyed me is like, yes, it's your house too, but you live with other people and there needs to be boundaries that is acceptable for everybody. Like, I live with my family. I don't walk around in like a sports bra and booty shorts because it's inappropriate.
Right.
Like if it was just me and my mom, sure, maybe, but even
Yeah.
then I probably wouldn't do that. If I lived alone, yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
But like if you're living with like roommates, especially if like it's your sister and her husband, like
And her
I
child?
yeah. And like if I were like the sister, I'd be like, yeah, honestly, yeah, I probably wouldn't want my husband to see you like that. Because like it's inappropriate. But even then, if like, I'm not concerned about that, like she does have a good point about the child. Like I don't know. The sister, she's like what, 20 years old. She just sounds young and immature and she's not understanding
Yeah.
anything.
I feel like I understand that situation because I had my own roommate situation
Mm-hmm.
back in college, but
It feels like these kids just don't have like they have issues with boundaries.
yeah.
And once somebody tells them no, it's like they fucking like make the biggest deal out of it, even though it's like it's not like they're telling, hey, criticizing you as a person, like saying you're bad. No, it's just it not everything you're gonna do is gonna like work well with other people.
Right. Like, yeah. I mean, for me, it's like if I'm living with a little kid, I'm
Mhm.
not walking in like booty shorts or in a sports bra. I'll be wearing
Mhm.
like pajama pants and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Just so that way the kid can understand that, this is how people dress normally when they're living with other people.
Yeah, and like if it was like a thing, because like with my old roommate, like we would occasionally just walk around like not fully clothed, but we actually, I think we talked about it beforehand to make sure that we were both like comfortable. So like if it was the case where one of us wasn't comfortable, I'm sure like it would have been that boundary would have been respected at least. Yeah, didn't have the most amazing roommate, but I feel like there was still some level of respect there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, OP, you're not the asshole.
you're definitely not. I think your sister is just very immature and she's 20 years old. Like, I mean, you would think at 20 she'd probably have a better understanding, but she's silly. She's kind of the asshole, but I hope she will learn from this eventually and
Yeah.
understand to better respect other people's boundaries.
Yeah.
Because like the sister said, she has the right to do that in her own room, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the rest of the house is a shared living space. You have to respect it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alrighty. So pretty much, if we're counting, we've only had one asshole
Mm-hmm.
out of 6.
Yeah.
So
Out of 6.
1 out of 6. That's not that bad.
Good job, guys. Y'all have a lot of toxic family members.
Yay! Except for the first OP, you're a toxic family member.
Yeah, low key.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess lesson, definitely don't let your family members push you around, and also don't be pushy with your family members either.
Yeah. And also communication.
Communication is sexy, and honestly, just fucking like keep your business to yourself, because like I don't know, it's like respect yourself and respect others, and like if you do see something wrong, talk to the proper authorities, and if you're not sure, then honestly, it is pretty good to share stories to get a better understanding, because like OP for the nephew, he like both of those stories of the nephew, he didn't understand that this was a bit toxic until like later.
So like everyone was telling him.
Yeah, so it's like actually like really good for these people to have these like self realizations.
Yeah.
So good for you, OPs. I hope y'all lead a better life from that point.
Yep. Alrighty.
Yeah. I would be down to do this again sometime.
Oh yeah, this was a fun read.
It's fun going through Reddit.
Oh yeah, it's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you guys want to hear more Reddit stories, you can actually point us to certain threads, and we can try looking through that. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I would very much be down to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Alrighty.
right. Well, guys, thank you for joining us on this episode, and I bid you a good afternoon.
I bid you a good evening.
I bid you a good night.
And I bid you a good morning.
All right, guys, have a good day.
All right, bye.